happy. I'm glad to be in Celtic. Our main goal is to win the title, like always. I don't feel like we have strong rivals. I feel like it's us. We have to be at our level. All the teams are very good, and we have to take all the teams seriously.
The goal for this season is put the club in the place they deserve. I think we are going to fight for the title. I think it's the minimum to represent this club, and I think we are going to make it possible. This season we are working hard. It's not just about the skill, it's also mentally. We are ready to be champs again. Vamos!
Vamos indeed. Of course, there's no rest for the wicked, as they say, as both teams have already featured earlier this afternoon. In Bayern Munich, well, they've hardly had a chance to catch their breath and regroup as they go into this final match of the day. Having said that, let's go ahead and see who's going to feature for Game 1 and see if a little bit of time for Celtic to rest will have a good, positive impact for them, and what kind of impact Bayern Munich will have, having just finished up their most recent match. So let's see then who is going to be pinned up against whom in this first game, and it's going to be Lotfi for Celtic. You may remember that he narrowly lost out earlier on today, after though he tried to mount a comeback. It was just a little bit too late for him. And then Mestre, who featured in that 4-4 draw against Eldridge. Really exciting game, that one, with 8 goals in it. Certainly we'll see something a little bit different, I suspect, this time around between these two sides. And I think, Wes, actually in the group draw, you mentioned that this was going to be one where the group could be made or break.
Yeah, and it's more so for the fact that both of these teams are now playing twice in one day. You know, you can take it one way or the other. You can either have all the points on the board and be very happy that you've got that, or you could be much like Man United or Monaco and just say, well, we've got points now, we can rest up, we can take it for another day. I mean, Harry, you'll know these guys as much as what I do. I mean, I'm expecting a masterclass of tactics here.
Oh, it's been fun to watch these two players and their respective lineups across the variety of competitions that you and I have had the pleasure to commentate over in the past few years. This, for me, though, is an intriguing matchup. We heard Eldridge in that interview you just had with him, Wes, say, we countered the predicted lineup of Bayern. And I wonder if there's a bit of gamesmanship happening here as well, because for me, Lotfi, despite his loss in their first match of today, is one of the better game managers in the entire Championship Pro 2022. And he goes up against Mestre, who is a free scorer, scored 4 against Eldridge. So I wonder if that's going to play into the storyline of this match here in Game 1 of match number 2.
Well, also, you've got to think as well, Bayern Munich are coming fresh off of games that they've just played, whereas Celtic have had a little bit of a break. They've had a break in the day. They've been able to go and get refreshed. They've been able to go and, take a break away from the console, kind of reset themselves a little bit mentally. Meanwhile, Bayern are in that mindset of, as you heard from Jose, we need to improve, we need to get better, we need to be more clinical. So you've got those two blends of, are Celtic going to come in and be a bit kind of lax? Are they going to be a bit kind of, we've had a bit of time out, the adrenaline's worn off, or are Bayern going to make mistakes because they're too fired up?
We're about to find out as we kick off our final match of the day, Game 1 between Celtic and Bayern. Celtic currently topping the group with 6 points. Bayern chasing them down, just 2 points behind. Mestre versus Lotfi. The free-scoring Mestre versus the excellent game manager in Lotfi. It's Bayern who attack early on here as Sane tries to turn, but the pressure from the defender is good enough to see Celtic maintain their clean sheet so far.
Yeah, this is the telling part now. It's going to be a case of whether Maeda and Kyogo can get free and whether they can wrestle away from almost the physical giants that are Bayern Munich. You know, you've got Upamecano, you've got Sule, you know, kind of occupying those types of regions. It's going to be a case of whether the kind of the diminutive almost nature of Celtic is going to be able to get free here.
Well, Maeda is going to be someone that's all of the eFootball Championship Pro clubs this season need to keep tabs on. And Bayern have done that well so far. Goretzka now. Here for Matchday. It's going to be an early yellow here in the opening 15. That'll go to Goretzka, I believe. And that's going to gift a possession here. Over to Celtic with this free kick whipped into the box. Goretzka now for Bayern. This will be a corner to come. As we've just been sitting back and admiring the action, Wes, there's a lot of games to be played in this match to come. And every moment requires the utmost concentration, not only from us, but from these players here as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And this is kind of where it's going to come to the fore as he goes into the side netting. You can see that Bayern just trying that corner again. If you are, you know, like I say, if you are watching this, you've got to keep blocking that corner. That corner has been undoing quite a few defences here today. It's certainly something that these players need to game plan against.
So here comes Lotfi. Now with McGregor, has lots of time to get the strike away. Dealt with well in the end by Matchday. But that was a real chance, wasn't it? We saw that purple bar there, Wes.
Yeah, and that's it. That's that kind of shot or pass modifier. It adds an extra bit of zip, but it can sometimes come at the cost of accuracy. So it's very rare that we've seen it today. I think the only other time I've seen it is during the Man United game. So I think it's not really being used by by the pro players you're seeing here. But I think it's because it does take a little bit more time for it to kind of wind up and take on. So I don't think we'll be seeing it unless they've got, you know, an acre of space. I don't think we'll be seeing much stunning action from these guys.
Of course, one of the newer mechanics introduced to the eFootball franchise. We'd love to see some more of that employed in games to come. But as you said, it does require the perfect type of situation. Here is Goretzka now switching the play over to Sane. Lewandowski tackled well by Carter Vickers and Lotfi and Matchday. We wondered if this was a case of them cancelling each other out, almost fire meeting ice. And so far it's proved that way. No goals within half an hour of play. Could that change here, though, with Gnabry? Goretzka back to Gnabry with the improvised strike, but approaching the half-hour mark, no goals.
Again, this Celtic side proving just how stubborn that they actually are. You know, again, it's that rearguard defensive action that is saving them in abundance here. They've got Juranovic, they've got Starfelt, they've got Julian, and they're trying to keep the door closed on this Bayern Munich side.
Oh, here is one of the players you just mentioned, trying to play it forward now to his attackers. McGregor. Kyogo with the double touch, and, well, two of the Bayern defenders there just getting in each other's way. That may lead to them being out of position and maybe unready for this attack. Maeda skipping past defenders left and right, gets his strike away. And the goalie called into action. It's that man once more with his quick feet and opportunity to improvise. Will win a corner here for Celtic.
Yeah, you wonder whether Maeda maybe could have gone back across the goalkeeper with that rather than trying to put it in at the almost near post to try and go back and at least create more of an angle, but still gives Celtic a corner, still gives them some danger. You can see the possession stat just flash up in the top left-hand corner.
So it's that driven corner, as we've seen a few teams so far, a few of the players to attempt this season seems to be the way to go with these corner kicks, and this time dealt with by Bayern, but Celtic with all this room. Look at this. You've got a chance here. Lovely double touch, and that is an absolute gem of a goal. It's Lotfi, it's Celtic. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's 1-0.
Form is temporary, class is permanent. Brilliant double touch from Hatate. And again, it was only from the fact that Bayern backline got pushed all the way back. You can see Hatate just almost locked his defender into 1v1 and said, come on, come and take the ball off me. And instead, he just very quickly takes his feet beautifully past the defender, completely misstep. Goalkeeper not able to get there. Hatate makes it 1-0. Lotfi showing that calibre that we are so used to from an eFootball perspective. You can see Matchday, again, knew what was coming, couldn't do anything to stop it. And as a result, Celtic have a 1-0 lead.
Well, we've seen some absolutely beautiful goals scored so far today. That joins the ranks of some of the very best. Lotfi knew exactly what he wanted to do as soon as he trapped that ball. And he's looking for his second here in as many minutes as Matchday is given some defensive duty. Here is Gnabry now. Half-time rapidly approaching. Who will get the last attack of the half, though? Can be so pivotal in some instances. Looks like Matchday's won the ball back just in the nick of time, but has given it away. And, well, is there an opportunity perhaps for either side to get one more attack in? Here is Turnbull, has Kyogo trying to run in behind, but instead, the referee will blow the whistle. And the first half ends 1-0, Wes. What have you seen there as we take a look at some of the stats from the first half? Plenty of shots, but just the one goal.
Yeah, again, it's clinical. It's clinical eFootball play. It's having your opportunities, taking it on, and making sure that you put your chances away when you have them. And yes, you know, there's been 3 shots on target for Celtic. There's only been 1 on target for Bayern, so there's only been 1 realistic chance that's been there for Bayern, and it's not been put away. Whereas with Celtic, they've had 3 of them, and they've managed to put at least 1 of them away. So, looking for that killer instinct, you're looking to your Celtic team, and you're looking to Lotfi at the moment, who seems to be in the ascendancy.
Well, you can see there exactly how this would impact the group. Should it stay this way, Celtic would extend their lead. In the off-season, they went out and got their men in Kilsue and Lotfi and a veteran in Ayaz Babisk, and so far, so good. Here's Maeda, and he's beating his man here as well. Can he get a cross in? He can, but it won't find a teammate. And Matchday so far needs to get some attacking output going, because so far it's been pretty much one-way traffic. Lewandowski's trying to take the ball past his man. But once again, it's Lotfi who comes through, and Maeda's through down the middle, has Davies giving chase, but I tell you what, he could even square it if he wanted to. Goes for goal himself, and was that the right decision, Wes? I do wonder.
Yeah, that's a massive chance that goes by the way. So I think it's took a save there. It looked like it might have got a touch there. Maybe it's my eyes deceiving me after the action that we've seen today. Oh, no, it was my eyes deceiving me. I thought I saw a touch on it from the goalkeeper, but that's a huge miss for Lotfi, and you can sense that should be one of those chances that should be paid off here. If Matchday can get a goal here, it will almost be as though we scored 2 in a sitting here. If you can get a chance and get a goal here,
could be a real sucker punch to Celtic's aspirations in this group. On further inspection of that replay, as you said, didn't take a deflection, but also Don't think the square was quite on, as there were Bayern defenders rapidly retreating back towards their own goal to cover that off. So regardless, potentially should have been put away by Lotfi, but so far he's defending well. You can see a pause queued up as well. So tactical changes in the offing here. Musiala. Sane. Early cross in, trying to catch the Celtic rear guard. Off balance, off keel, but they've been rock solid at the back, and the turn of pace up top isn't too bad either. Sane into Musiala. Mestre building. But defensively, the Celtic defence has been an incredibly difficult problem to overcome for all the players they faced today.
Yeah, and I think if you are looking at trying to find a deficiency in this Celtic defence, you're actively and should be looking at the low passes and the low abilities, because although, you know, as we've looked and we've spoken at length about how good Celtic are physically and aerially, they will suffer if you can get the ball into their feet and get it in and around them, which I'm not sure whether that's the game plan of Bayern at the moment. They're trying to go to Lewandowski, they're trying to go aerial, and they're trying to go with the aerial threat. However, that seems to be getting nullified by Celtic routinely here, and it's only going to be through a slice of luck may they actually get anywhere close to getting into a goal here.
Well, changes have been made. Subs are coming on. They have 20 in-game minutes to make their impact. If you're Lotfi, it's about holding on, and if you're Mestre, it's about doing just this, threatening the goal. It's kicked into touch. Throw in then in the final third. Here is the sub Choupo-Moting, but stepped up well once more, not for the first time by the Celtic defence. And well, Choupo-Moting here. He's dancing, he's weaving, he's fine. Serge Gnabry here as well. This could be a real chance for the equaliser, and he takes it. Grabs it with two hands. Says, thank you very much. I'll have 15 in-game minutes to search for a winner. Mestre equalises the scoring.
I'm starting to think they're listening to us, Harry. That was really good, intricate play here. You'll see it go just down the line here. Again, it's all low passes, it's all low blocks, it's dummies, it's trying to do as much as you can there. Again, the dummy creating that animation, which then allows Bayern, you'll see it from this angle here, it's this pass in here, then it's the dummy, which you'll see just causes that animation, allows the ball to be rolled past the corner. We've seen it once already from Bayern Munich today. We've seen it again now, and like you said, 15 in-game minutes. Let's see what you can do.
Cool, calm and collected as ever, by the way, is Mestre. Knows how important it is for his club as he scores his fifth to try and make it to the top of the group. And he scores his sixth immediately afterwards. Lewandowski and Mestre could be sending Bayern München to the top of this group. They've turned it around. It's the 1-2 punch. It's 2-1 now to Bayern.
If you talk about triangle football, that is it in its entirety. A brilliant piece of play. 1 and then 2 through the line. Lewandowski's through on goal. Again, if you want any predatory striker in world football, you'll pick Robert Lewandowski 9 times out of 10. And for that, worth his weight in gold. A fantastic finish. And it's that, like you said, that 1-2 sucker punch. You've conceded once if you're Celtic, but then to go and concede again, and now the dynamic of the game shifting once more. It's going backwards and forwards here.
Well, we thought this dynamic might be the fire versus ice, trying to nullify the attacking threat of Mestre. with the game management of Lotfi, but it's held strong for all of 74 minutes, but he's going for more, and it's off the post. Oh, my word. It could have been 3. Celtic are living dangerously here. Choupo-Moting, who has been a revelation here for Bayern. That's what it would do to the group as things stand. Still plenty more action to come in the eFootball Championship Pro 2022. But as things stand, Bayern heading to the top of the group, and Matchday heading to the top of the goal-scoring chart as well. Maybe a bit too early to talk about the race for the Golden Boot, but Matchday, he is full of goals. Corner now. At the front post as well, it sneaks in! Schürrle at the front post! Makes it Bayern 3, secures the points. It's that corner again, Wes. It's Matchday again, Wes. It's Bayern 3, Celtic 1. Unbelievable scenes.
I was going to say, you just need a soundboard from here. You've got to block that corner. You have to block it. Regardless of if it takes a deflection, at least you take the sting out of the cross. It's great work from Matchday to make that work. But again, you've got to talk about the defensive nature of it. You have to stick a man there to then block that cross. We've seen it over the course of previous tournaments. We've seen it throughout, eFootball gameplay. You've got to stop it. And if you don't stop it, you run the risk.
Oh, there's a penalty to be had here. In the 91st minute. And this is a must-score penalty for Lotfi. Maeda steps up against Matchday. And there's enough power to force it through the glove to make this an incredibly nervy last few minutes here, Wes. We'll take a look at the foul. But all that matters for Lotfi is he tucks away the subsequent penalty to give him a chance.
Yeah, the foul essentially came from, too heavy of a challenge. The ball getting knocked through the legs of a Bayern defender finally is one that's a given. There was a big pour on it, but it wasn't able to be kept out these last 3 minutes. We say a lot about, there's not enough time, it's too little, it's too late. But as we know with eFootball, if the ball is kept alive, the game will keep ticking. Regardless of how long it says on the clock, it will give you that one last attack. So if you're Matchday, you're wanting to grab hold of this ball and you're wanting to run for the hills. Whereas if you're Lotfi, you're wanting to keep this ball alive as much as you can to give yourself the best opportunity to score. However which way that falls is down to these guys and these final tactical switches.
Well, Lotfi is ready. And Matchday, who, might I add, was down 1-0 in the 74th minute of this game 1. Finds himself in a position where he needs almost to hang on for these last few minutes now. We're into stoppage time as the game is shortly underway. And a nervy few in-game minutes here for Bayern München fans. It's kicked as far up the pitch as possible, and I wonder, will Gnabry get there first? The answer is no. Celtic have let it run, but the problem is that's ticked away precious seconds off that clock, and they need to win the first and the second ball here off the kickoff if they want to continue this. But instead, the referee says, no, none of that. And a precious 3 points to send Bayern to the top of Group A. Matchday 3, Lotfi 2. And it took a while to spring into life, Wes, but what a game that was between two great competitors.
Yeah, it did. It took a fair while to kind of catch fire, but once it did, we saw probably, I would say, the best of Mestre. We saw the best of him. He managed to just get himself at a foothold into the game, managed to get himself going, and as a result, managed to find vital goals. As we saw, chances that were on for Celtic. We saw, Maeda just try and force an opportunity there. Could have gone the other side. Instead, we found it was Hatate, a brilliant double touch that took it away from the defender. And we thought, at that point, Celtic were off to the races.
We thought they would continue their dominance in this group so far. But I hate to say it once more for Lotfi, it's another agonising 3-2 defeat. And he has not secured any points on this match day, which when Celtic signed him, Wes, they thought they were going to get a sure thing. He was going to collect points left and right, and he still may do that with their final match of the group still to come, but certainly not the return you would have wanted from Lotfi. Here it is, 75th minute. You get your equaliser if you Mestre. And then immediately afterwards, Wes, it's Gnabry to Lewandowski. The rest is history.
Yeah, it's that passing movement that we've known from Bayern Munich for so long. From regardless if it's Mestre, if it's Jose, if it's Alex, we have seen that passing mentality bring true. And it's this kind of almost what I can only describe as an expert set piece that we keep seeing from these teams that are able to replicate it so many times. The penalty that got given and managed to pop that in, but it was, again, at that point was too little too late, and they didn't get the final opportunity on the board. And again, disappointing loss for Lotfi. Again, huge delight for Mestre, who has kind of managed to exercise the ghosts of that 4-4 draw.
Well, we know he's full of goals, Semra, but Mestre finally has points to his name as well to supplement the one he got against Manchester United. What a first game of this match.
What a first game indeed, and what a game of two halves after running a watertight ship at the very back for Celtic. Lotfi had been doing an excellent job until about the 70-minute mark or so. Then all of a sudden a hat-trick of goals from Mestre in relatively quick succession put him in a great position to take those 3 points. Even though Lotfi was able to pull one back from the spot, it was too little too late for him, and in the end those 3 points will prove massive for the German outfit as they go to the top of the lot. So let's go ahead and see then as they head into the second game of this match. They're in a great position indeed as they head into these final 2 games of the day. We'll see who's going to feature next for them, for Celtic and for Bayern Munich, especially in the case of Celtic as they try to regain their place at the top of the lot. It looks like it's going to be Kills You, someone who really surprised us all at the very top of the day by launching a massive upset against his former teammate and 3-time world champion as Makeable, and that certainly will give him a lot of confidence going into this one. The same can be said for his Spanish counterpart in this game, Jose, who will no doubt be feeling a lot of confidence as well after picking up the only game of their previous match against Manchester United and exacting a little bit of revenge in the process as well. So certainly a nicely poised game between these two, and it could be very decisive in determining which one of these two ends up at the top of the group by the end of the day.
Yeah, you're so right. I think it's very telling that with that win in game 1, Bayern have leapfrogged Celtic, and Celtic won't be liking that one bit. What's fun about this one as well, Wes, if we look towards the players we have Jose, who came off his victory against Ostrobuch, as Semra said, exacting a bit of revenge there, but also you look at Kills You, also coming off a victory. So 2 players here coming off of a win, and they'll want to continue that winning streak as well.
Yeah, even for bragging rights more than anything else. But Jose has asked for a response from his teammates. He's got one from Mestre, and now he's going to go and kind of back it up again for himself. But again, he's right up against it against Kilzu, who we saw again do some amazing heroics for Celtic in the opening game of the day. Now he's got to go again. Now it's going to be what I can only describe as the intriguing tie that we will expect from these two.
Yeah, well, thank you so much to Semra for setting us up nicely for this game 2 of our 3rd match of the day. Match day 1 is, the sun is setting on match day 1, and both of these clubs would love to come out as group toppers. As we said before, Bayern with that 3-2 victory over Celtic in game 1. have now leapfrogged them. They lead the group with 7 points over Celtic's 6. How many times can that change in our final 2 games to come? It's Killzoo versus Jose. And these 2 players, Wes, it's another one of those matchups where you just think maybe we could be seeing quite a lot of goals between these 2 very talented players.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to be a case of how they kind of boot into the game, how they're going to start to kind of interact with their team, and more importantly, how these 2 line up as their team lineups. We can see, you know, Killzoo taking a look over the virtual shoulder of Bayern to see what they're competing with. I think Jose is probably just looking to just tweak what worked for him in the previous game against Manchester United. So I think, you know, on balance, I think you're probably looking at Jose now being a little bit warm on the sticks, whereas Killzoo will have to kind of find that energy level, find that adrenaline rush that he found in game 1, which feels like a lifetime ago compared to where we are now.
Absolutely it does. And what feels like a lifetime away for these players as well is the knockout stages. The reason we keep wondering who's going to top the group is that the group topper from both Group A and Group B will qualify automatically for the semi-finals. They will bypass the need to play the quarter-finals. So very important that you're finishing top of your group. So far, so good for Bayern. They top the group as things stand. But for Killzoo, his entire goal here is to win this game, reclaim the throne at the top of Group A for Celtic, and for Jose is to extend that lead. You see game 1's result at the top of your screen. We're into game 2 now. It's Jose, it's Killzoo, and it's Bayern versus Celtic. Kingsley Coman trying to weave his way into the box. Lewandowski is always there, trying to snatch a goal. He's one that's been fairly quiet so far today, it has to be said, Wes, for Bayern. He's scored a couple of goals, but we're so used to seeing Bayern's build-up play feature Lewandowski so prominently, but it's mostly been about Sabitzer, it's been about Davies and Coman, a supporting cast, and there hasn't been all that much service to the Polish superstar up top for Bayern.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit to be said, I think, about the way that, you know, Jose and Matchday and Alex like to play with Bayern Munich. They don't like to necessarily lean on Lewandowski too much because you have skillful players in Gnabry and Coman and Sane who move a little bit more fluidly than Lewandowski in game. So I think that's kind of where we're looking at the moment.
Oh, look at this. Hatate is almost able to turn his man. Some very precise and surgical passing almost so far from Killzoo. He is looking very much in touch with his Celtic team. Kyogo to Turnbull, trying to turn inside. Back to Kyogo, dummies. Blocked. Turnbull now. Kyogo again, but well read in the end by Jose. He's going to have to do that quite a lot this game. Opening 15 has been pretty successful so far for his adversary.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of feints, a lot of dummies, a lot of double touches here from Killzoo. You know, we talk about reactionary kind of ways of playing. He'll certainly react, at least in the low stages, against this Bayern Munich side. And it's just a case of whether Bayern can put it together going the other way and try and kind of maybe have a go at the feet of these Celtic defenders.
Worth noting as well, if those of you are new to Killzoo as the representative of Celtic, he competes in fighting games as well. A lot of precise button combos needed there. It's very much the same in eFootball, so love to see that style translate into the trickery, the dummies, the feints that he plays with in this competition as well. He has the ball back now as well with Turnbull. Maeda lucky to come away with the ball. Here's Kyogo, lovely double touch. Can he get a strike away? He can. Is Maeda there to pounce? The defender certainly thought so. So just a throw in for the efforts, but a really strong opening 25 so far from Kilsue. He's pinning Jose back here. Hatate to Kyogo. The strike is there, but it is wide.
Yeah, I think if that's on target, that causes Ulrich a big problem as Jose had gone manual goalkeeping there and just started to inch away from that post. I mean, if it finds the target, could have been in business there again. It's something for Kilsue to maybe take on board. You know, we talk about people kind of almost downloading tactics and downloading kind of play styles. It'll be certainly one in the memory bank there now for Kilsue to think, okay, we can maybe try and exploit that going forward.
I think Celtic fans will have a lot of fun watching Kilsue this season. Of course, Bayern fans very familiar with the trio of Matchday, Alex Alguacil and this man Jose. It's interesting this season. We keep speaking about it as we take a quick peek at the leading goal scoring charts. And I'll come back to my point as Gnabry here for Bayern is cutting inside, goes for goal. Pressure still on here. But we always talk about the difference this season. It's not a co-op game anymore. You can rely on your teammates to give you advice, but ultimately it comes down to you. You are the one here who has to get things done for your team. Kyogo trying to cut inside, lots of dummies, but Jose is wise to it. And with less than 10 to go in this first half of game 2, no goals to show for it, but plenty of territory and possession, it has to be said, for Celtic.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at Kilsue's attacking kind of play style, it kind of plays into Jose's hands a little bit because he likes to patiently defend and wait for you to make the first move. So I think if he can predict all of those moves correctly and just sit off a little bit, it'll nullify those double touch, it'll nullify the dummy. But obviously you can't sit off too much because you leave yourself open to controlled shots. So that's going to be the kind of the difference maker here for defensively for Bayern Munich.
Certainly don't want to wait for all of the pieces on the chessboard to fall in your favour. Sometimes you've got to roll the dice and take some of those risks as we approach half-time now. Jose just maintaining possession so he can be the one to get the final attack of the half, but no additional minutes at the end of the first half. And that, to me, Wes, speaks to how open this game has been. Not a lot of stoppages. It's been very much back and forth.
Yeah, it's very much been more like a midfield battle. I think once it gets to the edges of each box, I think it then becomes a game of almost cat and mouse as to who's going to blink first in this scenario. And I think either end it's happening because both are executing double touches, both are trying to execute dummies, and both are trying to kind of give themselves space. I mean, you can see from the shots there's been 4 shots total between both teams in that half. So I think, you know, it speaks to a very open game in one sense, but a very tight game in another.
It's always interesting to see and listen to what advice can be given to the man who is essentially on an island right now. And that man is whoever is controlling the players on the pitch for these clubs. Again, it's all down to you here. And well, has that gone all the way through to Maeda? Oh, no! He got the finish all wrong. Kilsue still in possession, but perhaps could have gone for a low finish there. Instead, tries to chip the keeper. And credit to Ulrich, he's made himself large there. Could have very easily been 1-0 to Celtic. They still come forward though. Turnbull. Well, he's kept it alive. Kyogo, but Fernandez is there to cover.
Yes, it's more defensive, more rearguard action from Bayern, but they've got to be careful playing it out from the back here. Kyogo coming back the other way again. It's giving away a cheap one if the ref calls it back. It's play on given.
So many dummies. It's mesmerising sometimes to watch from Kilsue. almost always in danger of over-egging the pudding sometimes, but it's good build-up so far. Hatate cuts inside once more. That is absolutely beautiful. And who's there for the tap-in? It's Matchday once more. Celtic 1, Bayern 0. Kills you with an amazing goal. A bit fortunate with the tap-in, but still amazing nonetheless to make it 1-0 to the boys in green.
Yeah, it's faint again. It's dummies. They're getting the shot away in that corridor, as he saw how tight it was to even get the ball through there. And again, Ulrich, as much as he could do, it's tapped it straight up into the air. And again, you know, it's one of those moments, if you're playing it at home, you'll probably be just slamming the buttons as hard as you can and just hope your defender gets there first. But instead, it's Matchday who gets there, kills who taps it in. And Celtic get themselves, in some regards, a fortuitous 1-goal lead. But it's a very tight one with just over half an hour in-game minutes to go here.
And that goal has triggered a response from Jose. Clearly needs to change something. Not happy with how his team has played so far. Not too many changes. Doesn't want to get stuck in that analysis paralysis, so to speak.
Substitutions taking place.
But there's absolutely something to be said about Kilsue and his weaving and his feints, his dummies. It was the same on Monaco, but we're getting to see it so much more often now. Confirmation Kilsue up to 4 now on the season. Now he has control of all 11 Wes. You're seeing it so much more.
Yeah, and that's the vital part of it, is that you only have yourself to rely on now, is that's an offside given. And I think looking at, you know, just touching on Jose there, I think he'd be slightly aggrieved because he hasn't really done all that much wrong here and still finds himself 1-0 down. And, you know, I can't really see any other real trouble has been given to him apart from that bit of fortune that was there for Kilsue.
Our attentions now then turn to the Spaniard of Jose. Bayern are a great club and have high hopes, as they do in every competition. Time to step up now, as Celtic have reclaimed the lead of Group A. That is, of course, as things stand. That can still change if this game too has a different result. Here is Gnabry. Can't quite get past Julien. As we take a look at the comparable club stats, Wes, the goals conceded for Bayern, I think that's going to be a big sticking point for them and something they're going to try and shore up, no doubt, going into their next match day.
Yeah, it's certainly something to look at from a Bayern Munich standpoint, and even from a Celtic standpoint to a lesser degree, is that, you know, to go through competitions and to win games, yes, you do have to gamble a little bit, but not to the extent that you have seen today. And certainly goal difference wise, it's been very, very tight, and it's +1 if that for Celtic at the moment. So, you know, although they might be top of the tree at the moment, their goal difference is quite poor. So I think that'll be something for both teams to look at.
Less than 15 in-game minutes then for Bayern to chase the equaliser, and of course on the other side for Celtic to hang on. Kilsue's given the ball away, but luckily Juranovic has stepped up well. Hernandez now stepping up for a tackle, and this is the time you need virtual leaders to step up and make challenges like that. Here is Koeman, who beats his man well. Opportunity now to get a cross in. Lovely double touch, but it will only be a corner. Has he even given a corner here, though? No, it's a goal kick. Last touch coming off a Bayern man.
Yeah, you can see the patient kind of play there with Jose's dribbling was very, very good. Kilsue, you can see both his player with his hands behind his back, just trying to just cover whatever was coming his way, and he just double touched just a little bit too much and gave his opponent a little bit too much of the ball to work with. And again, rolls out for a goal kick to Celtic. And again, you can see these tactical tweaks coming in left and right here. You can see, Bayern looking almost to a 3-4-3. So they're very much looking to go for it in these moments. Whereas Kilzu looking very relaxed, looking almost nonplussed about the situation. Same with Jose, trying not to give too much away.
Well, as we sit back and admire the tweaks, the position changes, the change of instructions to the virtual players, the task remains the same here for Jose.
Substitution on the field. Number 11.
If you chase an equaliser and you're able to get it in these final 10 in-game minutes, Bayern will retain their lead at the top of the group, if I'm not mistaken. And here is Musiala. Sane on that far side as well.
Number 42.
Nervy moments here for both clubs. Sane gets the ball in. Musiala goes across the face of goal. Lewandowski goes to ground. And Celtic, they survive yet another attack. Into the final 5 in-game minutes, and this is the time of the match. You need to be concentrating, because it can be won or lost here. Sane inside the box, looking for Gnabry. Celtic survive again. How many more scares can they survive here, Wes?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's you can see the almost gegenpress kind of coming into the fore here from Bayern, but it's getting a little bit too little too late here as ball gets bounced off of him and goes out for a goal kick. And again, those vital seconds just slowly ticking down. But it looks like Celtic will look to walk away with 3 points here.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kilzu may be the acquisition of the season so far. He gets another 3 points for Celtic FC. Game 2 goes their way. An incredible 1-0 victory as we take a look at the stats. Completely dominant in every column, Wes. Kilzu. What a performance from this young man today.
Yeah, he's certainly coming to the fore. We wondered almost whether he would step out of the shadows that we had seen with co-op gameplay at least. We saw how potent he was as a goal scorer, and it's now showing that not only can he score goals, he can defend almost for his life here as well. You see great bits of skill, good pieces of manual goalkeeping. A very, very tight game indeed.
That is, of course, not to overlook the efforts of Jose on the other side. He tried, he just could not break down the defence. Already secured 3 points today in his previous match against Osnabrück, of course, the Manchester United game of match number 2 today. But Kilzu, all the plaudits go to him. Mesmeric at times, metronomic the way he was able to utilise his Celtic players and befuddle and bewilder the defence. It's almost a shame, Wes, in the end. He only scored the 1. He won't be in the race for the Golden Boot at the end of today, but the important thing for him is that he has 6 points out of a possible 6 today, Semra, and what a performance from young Kilzu.
What a performance indeed. As you say, 100% win rate so far for him. Really has been quite the surprise package, and one very much to keep an eye on as we progress over the next few weekends in this tournament, making a very big name for himself so far. Well, let's go ahead and see what is in store for this final game of the day, in the final match of the day, of course, and it should be a very tasty tie indeed. By now we all know who's going to be appearing in this 1v1 final game between Celtic and Bayern Munich. It's going to be Asbjørn Bisk, who also has had a very impressive day so far. Up until this last game, he was the only player to have kept a clean sheet so far, and he certainly has been flying his way through with his debut with Celtic after a year hiatus in this tournament. As for Alex Alguacil, he will certainly have hoped to have put the painful defeat of earlier today behind him, as he's the only player to have lost by more than 1 goal margin, losing by 2 goals to Cams earlier when they played against Manchester United. So he'll have to be a little bit more adventurous, he'll have to be tighter at the back, but it certainly is a bit of a big ask and a tough task against somebody who has been one of the best defenders so far in this in the tournament today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Semra, and those are great points that you bring up, because not only did Ayaz Babis keep a clean sheet, but also it was against a player the caliber of Guifera, who for Monaco seemed like a great acquisition, but just came up to a bit of a roadblock thanks to Ayaz Babis' fantastic defending. So the fact he's able to do that against a world-class opposition, he's going to have to do it again here against Alex Alguacil. But the fact he's able to keep a clean sheet there, and then on the other side, Alex maybe has struggled a little bit. I guess maybe it's too early to say that, to score goals. But if you're looking at the previous results, Wes, you have to say that maybe this is looking like Ayaz Babisk has the advantage going into this one.
He may just have a slight edge, but if there's one person you don't write off here, it's Alex Alguacil. You know, again, comes from an incredible pedigree of eFootball kind of skills and honours that go with it. I think it's just a little bit too short of a time to write him off just yet. Jose again has asked for a response from his teammates. Let's see if he can pull that out of the bag in this game.
Absolutely. Well, we'll take a look at how things stand as we approach our final game of match day 1 for Group A. Celtic, as things stand, top the group with 9 points. Bayern are the only team that can overthrow them at this point with this next game, because Monaco and Manchester United, they are done for today. We will see them next weekend, Wes. But you have to say, is this almost a bit of a crossroads at this point for Bayern München? This next game, if you win it, you're above Celtic, but if you lose it, you're quite off the pace, aren't you?
Yeah, and that's the danger here, is that you want one of these top 3 out of 4 spots. Ideally, I think everybody would want the top spot just to get themselves out of having to play additional games. But I think looking at it from this standpoint, you want to be looking up rather than looking down. And if you're Bayern Munich, you want that victory just to get yourselves just the nose ahead going into the final match day for this group.
Well, looks like the players are in, they are locked, they are loaded. We say thanks, of course, to Semra. We'll chat again after the game, and I do wonder what type of storyline we'll be retelling between these two players. We've set it up nicely. Ayaz Babisk, one of those really stalwart defensive players in the entire competition. Alex, who went up against Cams earlier, as Semra said, the only player so far to have lost by a 2-goal margin. He needs a big performance here. This could be a season-defining performance here for Bayern München.
Yeah, it really could. This has all the makings of a tie that could define where exactly they end up in this table. Are they looking up and looking to get the top spot on the final day? Or are they potentially looking down and looking to see whether they can just stay in those top 3 places?
Well, the game is kicked off. Our final game of this match and this match day as well. Celtic versus Bayern. It's Ayaz Babisk versus Alex Alguacil. And Bayern could use a very healthy result here indeed. One thing about defensive players, we've seen in the eFootball scene in the past, where sometimes they struggle. If they do concede early, they can struggle at times to get their attacking game going. Do you foresee that potentially being a problem here for Ayaz Babisk, or do we think maybe the experience should carry him through should he go behind early?
Well, I think it depends on how you set your lineup up from a formation point of view. If you're already set out in a defensive lineup, it's then going to be even harder for you to get forward and make things happen.
Well, look at this from Kyogo, almost breaking through the back line. And I think Ayaz Babisk, if he is listening to us now, is probably insistent on us not calling him a defensive-minded player. He is wanting to prove us that he can score some beautiful goals as well. We know he has it in him, but the reason we speak about his defensive capabilities so often, Wes, is because he is such a good defender. Here is Hatate looking for Maeda. Nothing doing that time around, but sometimes you just get a reputation as a player. I remember him in seasons past topping near enough the defensive points tally. That is, of course, in co-op play and a few years ago now, but was always impressed with his defensive resiliency. So hopefully we can see something up the other end of the pitch here as well.
It takes a lifetime to develop a reputation. It can take a second to destroy it. It'll only take one, mammoth performance of a glut of goals, and all of a sudden we won't be talking about defensive minded anymore. We'll be talking about goals as he's trying to make his way through there again. But again, we know the capabilities of these players. We just obviously point out those characteristics that they're known for. But certainly, he's no shrinking violet when it comes to scoring goals either.
Well, definitely not. He's had the lion's share of possession so far as well. And that will be something that I think Celtic fans will be quite happy to see. A point would do to keep them at the top of Group A come the end of the match day, which of course ends at the end of this game, Game 3. Well, here's Marcel Sabitzer, and it's going to come back here to Gnabry. And with 2 bites of the cherry, Alex and Bayern come away with nothing. Hatate now for Celtic will win a free kick, but surely, Wes, that should have been at least a goal. I'll come back to you as Maeda now is in the box with time to turn as well, but Thiago cannot quite get control of the ball.
Yeah, and it was that moment. I think he tried to be a little bit too kind of cute with it, and from Alex's point of view, where he tried to dummy back inside and then take the shot on. If it had just maybe he could have got a deflection, and like we said, rather than try and be this kind of cold and clinical nature of taking the 100% chance, sometimes you've got to take a risk or two and maybe bank on the game, giving you a little bit of luck here and there.
Now it's time for Alex then to come forward. 10 in-game minutes till half-time. It would be a great time to get a goal. Lewandowski using his strength, but unfortunately does not end up in a goal for Bayern this time around. Look out for that more, though, as Thiago tries to get in behind. But it's always interesting to see, now with this 1v1 format, how the players set their teams up differently to their teammates. As good defensive work there from Alex. Retains possession for himself. You always see for Celtic, Maeda is usually, so far this match day at least, the talisman, and he's trying to get in behind once more. But from what I've seen in the opening half, Bayern seems to be favouring Thiago trying to get in behind, and it's been working fairly well so far, although he doesn't have a goal to show for it, Wes. It's given Alex some trouble there at the back.
Yeah, I think it's more a case from AS Biscuit. It's more a case of using Thiago as a vehicle to get Maeda into the game. So it's more a case of once you take your eyes off of one attacker, you then have to focus on the other. So, again, there's this whole trying to keep almost the spotlight, as it were. If you were in a prison yard, you're trying to, evade capture. You're trying to keep the spotlight off of Maeda, and he's trying to put it more onto Thiago to allow that opportunity to go in, because we've seen, Maeda be the kind of the focal point of a Celtic attack through the entirety of this match day so far.
We'll take a quick moment to listen in to Alex and the Bayern boys.
No, si ya está. Si tú tranquilo. Tú has tenido la tuya y lo que tienes que hacer es que no te meta gol. Luego los últimos minutos, si quieres, le metes un poquito de caña, pero ya está. Confianza, o sea, te veo.
Well, you can hear, Wes, I believe that's Jose in the back, if I'm not mistaken.
Vamos, nene, vamos.
Just advising Alex there on the sticks for Bayern München how to get the best out of his team, or maybe he spotted something in this Celtic defence that he himself experienced earlier on that potentially could be exploited here from Bayern.
Yeah, it's always handy to have that type of support network in place that will see something that you might not necessarily have noticed. I mean, it's a fresh set of eyes will do the trick 9 times out of 10, and hopefully we'll see this game just open up a little bit more, because at the moment it's 0-0. We haven't really seen that many chances. I think we'll see it open up as time goes on here.
Here is Sabitzer, skips past his man, and Lewandowski has a great chance to open the scoring. And he tucks it away. Brilliantly taken goal by Alex to fire Bayern into the lead, 1-0.
It's taking those extra passes. You'll see through this build-up, it was calm, it was collected, it was moving the ball at the right pace at the right time. And again, that little dummy takes it away. That one misstep from a defender where Ayaz Babisca's tried to get the ball back and knows where this ball's going, but he can't stop it. It's a neat little ball in from Sabitzer. Lewandowski takes it under his wraps. And, once you hit a shoot button with Lewandowski that far out, you know where it's going. It's hitting the back of the net.
That reaction from Alex there maybe says to me, he's thinking, well, what took me so long? Why did that take so long to find that goal? Second on the day for Alex Alguacil. But it's an important one as it gives Bayern the lead. But for how long? Maeda and Ayaz Babis now have work to do. You're so right. You can see what it does to the league table here in Group A, but Maeda's taken a great touch, and that's a fantastic piece of goalkeeping, and the second ball is offside. But what a save here from Alex. That is absolutely incredible.
That's an unbelievable save, and how defining that will be in the game going forward, I mean, will we remain to be seen, but we'll certainly see that in the highlight package afterwards. That's a wonderful manual save.
So as it stands then, Bayern topping the group. If it stays like this, of course. Thanks to a wonderful change of pace within the build-up play of Alex. He'll want more of that, of course, to make it a little bit more comfortable for his side as we enter the final third of the match. And look at this, Kyogo almost in behind, forces a corner. Turnbull with the corner. Will be an in-swinger. And there's a second chance here for Celtic as well. Kyogo looking for Maeda. Great save. Not done yet. It's Hatate for Ayaz Babis and Celtic to make it 1 goal apiece. Hesitation was fatal at the back for Alex. And Celtic, they get their equaliser.
Yeah, it stems from not blocking that corner. It comes from that chance. It gets cleared out. Ball is recycled very well by Ayaz Babis. It's a great ball in there. And again, the fortune comes in here. You could argue a lot. I've seen those given as fouls. But again, Ayaz Babis tucks it away, plays to the whistle. And you can see the reaction from Alex. Furious, believes that should have probably been a foul. And I'm certainly in that camp of believing that should have been a foul. But again, I'm not the man in the middle. I'm not the ref. And as a result, that's why I'm sat here. And it's 1-1, equaliser in. And it will certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yeah, that will be a frustrating one for Alex to have conceded. And what's interesting me here the most, Wes, is that I think maybe Ayaz Babis realises that a point is all that's needed to retain possession at the top of the table. Because I'm seeing fresh legs in the midfield. I'm also seeing a new striker come on. So maybe I'm just reading into things, and maybe I should let Ayaz Babis finish his substitutes before reading into it. But We are set up really nicely now for the home stretch of this final game of our final match of Matchday 1.
Yeah, I think looking at the way that this is kind of setting up, you can see an all-blue mentality from Celtic. So it's a case of kind of, tucking your chin in for a moment just to see whether you can ride out a potential counter-attack off the kickoff. And then it's a case now of, does AS Bibisk want to take this on and get the points on the board? That's the real critical question here, and we might just get our answer.
Yeah, look at this. Jota is offside. Looked promising, but defensive pressure was enough. And a reminder, if you missed today's match day, you can see games 1 and 2 at the top of your screen between these two clubs. It's been a fascinating affair, it really has. But as things stand, it's a Scottish club on top of Group A. Turnbull now on that far side. Sabitzer looking for Sane inside, but not dangerous enough to challenge the goalkeeper. And now the ball comes the other way as we tick into the final 15 in-game minutes. There's the man they're looking for, and as well you are, AS Bibisk! The turnaround is completed! 2-1 to Celtic FC. And it's looking like they will end this match day at the very top of Group A.
Yeah, it's a great tuck away from Majetti. Again, just about gets himself back on side. I was almost anticipating a flag, but looking at it again, it's a wonderful ball for the right-hand side. Maeda just tucks it in. Majetti, again, as we said earlier, just slam it. If you're unsure of where to put the ball, just hit it as hard as you can. Hit it true, hit it straight. And you can see what that means to AS Bibiski. You can see the almost dejection on the face of Alex Alguacil. You can just see the kind of the outtake of breath, and you can just see how much that may have just depleted the energy level of FC Bayern Munich.
Well, we'll take a moment to listen to both sets of players, but I will submit a formal apology to AS Bibisk for painting him as more of a defensive player, as the turnaround is complete. 2 excellently taken goals. Let's have a listen.
C'est ça, peut-être je dois faire un truc là ou pas? Changement, un petit truc. Non, tu veux juste tu restes en dev, t'essaies de défendre. Ça reste comme ça, je change pas. Ouais, tu vas juste. Les mecs, j'arrive, parce que là, t'as vu, l'esprit là. Bien sûr, tu verras l'esprit.
Well, we heard just after the goal went in, I think it was Lotfi, or potentially it could have been Killsy saying kick off, watch out for the kick off. That's what Alex is setting up for here, and this is something that AS Bibisk needs to be very aware of, because he could be the second Celtic player today, Wes, to take 6 points away from a possible 6. It would be a huge result for Celtic FC.
Yeah, it'd be one for the confidence as well, because I think looking at the Celtic lineup, you probably would have looked at Lotfi as their potential strongest player, and instead we're now looking at his 2 cohorts and teammates who have potentially gotten quite a few points on the board here.
Well, this is what Celtic were wary of, and they've survived the kick-off attack. Maeda, he has played really well today. Not so much in a talisman role, but a supporter today. Jota trying to get around his man. Ajeti, who as well has made an impact off the bench. But now it's time to see AS Bibisk perform his bread and butter. Show us why you're a defensive master. Sane now for Alex. Lewandowski in behind as well. It will be a corner in the final 10 minutes. Once again, Wes, doesn't look like this driven cross is going to be blocked or even attempted to by Ayaz Babisk. Will that be fatal? Schüller at the front post. And it's dealt with well in the end.
Yeah, and you know, you are almost gambling with it. You know, just letting the ball go into the box, you are at the mercy and the lottery of eFootball as to whether your player is going to register the fact that that ball is hurtling towards them. So you're going to have to be on your guard and make sure that you're right onto task to make sure you can clear that ball. But Ayaz Babisk, again, channeling that inner defensive demon that we have said exists within him, that is just clearing this ball again and again at this moment in time, that keeps giving possession back to Bayern.
They've got to be wary as well, stepping up in these tackles, not to give away a foul or even worse, the ball. But that's a successful one, and as we approach stoppage time now, it's looking less and less likely an equaliser will come for Bayern, and Alex gives the ball away. Game management time now for the Frenchman. Sabitzer gets the ball back, but is there enough time on the clock to get this into the Celtic half? It's a long boot, but it's only up to the halfway line. And Ayaz Babisk has not secured it yet. I thought that was the full-time whistle, Wes. But maybe it should just be enough as we're into the 4th minute now of 3 added on. You just don't give the ball away here. If you're Ayaz Babisk, anywhere will do. And there is the final whistle. Celtic will finish match day 1 at the very top of Group A. A brilliant start to the eFootball Championship Pro 2022. What a performance.
Yeah, massive result. And you can see exactly what it means to Ayaz Babisk. But again, credit to Celtic. They've come away from this match day